Good morning, everybody. It's Dusty again from the fellowship team, and I'm here with Nancy and John Sternquist, who just zoomed into Yankton and were kind enough to invite me over today. So I think they might be a little jet lagged, so give them a little break. Anyway, thank you for inviting me over. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to.
Looking forward to getting to know you better. When did you become a member of our church, and what influenced you to join?
We joined the church in 1981. I was a lifelong Lutheran. Yes, hard to believe. But Nancy was a longtime Congregationalist from Beersford, South Dakota, and we came here. We went to different churches and came to UCC. I think probably because of Dwight Sissenard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you stayed because you loved what?
The people.
Okay.
People and the music and the
Yes.
fellowship and the kind of camaraderie of the whole thing.
Good. Cool. So, if you had advice to give to yourself as your younger self or to somebody younger, what would it be?
Go ahead.
I would say don't worry about things because things always work out. And enjoy life. It's a great ride.
And what my wife always says is be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I always say is, she says, don't give up. You know, persistence is worth more than intelligence or intellect or whatever. Just to stick to it.
Yeah. Sounds like you two make a great pair. So how did you meet?
Well, we went to the same high school, but when I was a freshman in high school, I saw a cute little cheerleader in the 8th grade cheerleader. She was much younger than me.
1 year.
And put my eye on her and kept she was the kind of girl who would go out with older guys, like seniors in high school.
So where did you go to school?
Beersford High School.
Beersford.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was a farm boy and she was a city slicker.
Yes. It's a little
Took
town.
advantage of me.
Oh, I did not.
Where was your first date?
I took her to the awards banquet, and I won her heart because she was supposed to get an award for band or something like that, and someone forgot her, and so I brought it up to the band director who rectified it.
I see. What did you play in band?
Clarinet.
All right.
It's now a lamp in my living room.
Getting a whole lot more use that way.
No, I played in high school and I played in college.
Oh, my.
I played in marching band and symphony band in college and
Where'd you go to college?
SDSU.
All right.
So.
And what did you graduate, or what did you study?
I graduated with a degree in home economics.
Oh my, no wonder you cook so well.
Well, that and I had grandmas that cooked. My mom did not like to cook at all. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I like to cook. So
And where'd you go to school?
Well, I went to University of South Dakota for undergraduate and got into med school. At that time, it was a 2-year program, so after 2 years, went to Minnesota for the last 2 years. So I got my MD from University of Minnesota, and then I did my surgery residency at the county hospital there, which was a 6-year program. So,
Oh wow.
so
what kind? You were a surgeon?
Yeah.
General surgeon?
Right.
Oh wow.
as my mom said, that after my 6 years of training after med school, and then I said, made some comment to somebody that was a general surgeon. My mom said, "Boy, I'm sure you wish you would have specialized."
Oh, Harriet, yeah.
So what did your parents do?
Oh, I grew up on a farm about 30 miles east of here.
All right.
So you asked about jobs. My first thing I remember doing was gathering eggs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I'm sure-
those
I'm sure I
those
did that.
roosters can be mean.
Well, yeah. Anyway, my worst time was I was gathering eggs and put my hand in the the division of the that the hens were in. put my hand in to gather the eggs and felt something furry instead of feathery, and it was a possum.
Oh my goodness.
So when I was home, I went in and got Dad's shotgun. I must have been older then, because I came out with the shotgun and it was an old 12 gauge double barrel shotgun, and I don't know who I scared more, the possum or me or my shoulder, but
Oh, yeah.
it was a bad situation.
You were probably little.
Yeah.
So, City Slicker, what did your parents do?
My dad was an international harvester dealer.
Really?
And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And so my first job, my mom, because she didn't know how to cook, my dad said my mom did not know how to boil water when she got married. So my mom was determined that we learn how to cook. So I have two other sisters, and we had to take turns making something. Somebody'd make the main dish, somebody'd make dessert, somebody'd make salad, from Boys and Girls Cookbook. And that was what I remember doing from when we were little on up, because she wanted us to know how to cook. So,
And it worked.
well, evidently, I guess.
So, what do you remember about grandparents, either one of you?
Well, my grandma, when we were little, lived right next door to us. I used to live in Sloan, Iowa, and then in 5th grade I moved to Beersford. And she made bread and would like to entertain, and I remember them making homemade popcorn balls at Halloween, which of course you couldn't do now. And the kids would come in, and we'd guess who they were after we went trick-or-treating. I remember her. And my other grandma, my grandpa died rather young, and she was a business manager and managed their farms and lived in Sioux City, and she also was a great cook. So you can tell about yours.
My grandpa and grandma on my dad's side were actually farmers over by Alcester, so we'd go see them on Sundays. And what I remember about that was that he would let us drive his C Farmall, which anyone in the audience knows that a C Farmall is just a little tractor that's got kind of an offset seat, and anyway, he'd let us drive around the yard. But my real hero was my grandma on my mom's side, because she was my ideal woman. She was about this tall. She was really kyphotic by the time I got to know her, but she was. We spent a lot of time at her house, because when her husband died, my mom and dad moved down to that farm to farm, and she built a little house up by the road. So, as I said someplace else, she was physically and metaphorically chained to us, and we would be over there as much as we were at home. And she was just a wonderful lady, just like everybody's Nana is a wonderful lady.
That's awesome. So, something that, besides the possum story about you, that would surprise people?
I think that a lot of people would be surprised that I'm an introvert, and that I am basically shy.
I would agree with that.
I think that's not unusual. A lot of people who, Nancy is the extrovert. She's the party person. She can get to know anybody. Some of us have a harder time with that. But I think that I've gotten better over the last 50 years of marriage to her, 51 years now. That we sort of become similar.
Yeah.
You know what else I think people would be surprised at? At how much you love music and all kinds of music. He has a huge selection of music.
No talent.
Yeah.
Well,
She's got the talent. She's got the clarinet.
No musical talent. Yeah. She's
okay, what would people be surprised about me? I'm kind of an open book. I suppose now they'd be surprised that I was a cheerleader. And I suppose, let's see what else.
They'd probably be surprised that she has an entire library of organizational books.
No, I got rid of them.
Oh, didn't you?
I think they'd be surprised that that how much we've traveled. Because when John retired, we traveled a lot. Did a lot of different countries, and it was fun.
What's the favorite place or place that you want to go back to the most?
Oh gosh.
India for you.
Oh yeah, I liked India.
Wow, you have traveled.
Yeah, we've been to India and Egypt and China, Africa a couple times. Well, yeah, Africa, Europe. I guess I don't know. Everywhere. I loved traveling, and I did love India.
One of the good times is that when we did this European vacation, kind of a Chevy Chase kind of thing, we took a river cruise, down the Rhine to the Danube, and then jumped around Italy, to Venice and Lake Como, and then we took a train across to Italy, across the southern part of France, into Spain, train across Spain, and we rented a car in France, and drove through the southern part of France up to Mount Saint Michel, and we got lost.
Oh.
We're going to go to this Mount Saint Michel, which is a kind of like a castle kind of thing on the the Atlantic side, kind of an island off the coast. Anyway, very picturesque. And Nancy said, "Well, I don't have an address to this place. Someplace we found GPS coordinates for Mount Saint Michel. We put those in the GPS thing, and drove off." In the countryside in south of France, and I guess probably the middle of France, it was just stunning. It was absolutely perfect. It was like, I thought, this is like Disneyland. This has got to be set up because it's all so picturesque and perfect. And the GPS would say, turn here, turn there, turn here. Roads kept getting smaller and smaller. It seemed like we were driving through farmyards. Finally the thing said, you're 3 kilometers, you're 2 kilometers, you're 1 you've arrived. We're in the middle of a forest.
We were not there.
We were 50 miles away from this tourist thing, but it was a great trip.
Okay, I think we have to cut it shorter because
Well, they're gonna cut it.
You're
out.
fine.
Oh, we are.
You can go on and on.
Well,
Yeah,
honestly,
They're gonna take what they want and delete the rest.
Oh, all
They
right.
do.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah,
good.
that's what Jacqueline does.
Okay.
So we know that you collected eggs as a chore. What did you do? Did you have chores? You and your sisters?
Oh, yes, we had to do stuff around the house all the time. Either cook and then we'd clean. And when I was in high school, I worked for a photographer in a photography studio.
Oh, cool.
And I have a funny, that was when they used to do oil paintings. And so this lady came in and you'd look for your picture and she'd say, "Oh, this is me." I said, "Oh, no, that can't be you." And it was because they were so touched up that you couldn't tell. But yeah, I worked there, and I worked for my dad keeping books too when I was in high school. So.
Yeah.
Well, I tell people that I was the youngest of 3 boys, and so my job was to milk the cows. It was a couple of cows to start with, and then it got down to 1 until I started high school. And then suddenly, when I wasn't there to milk the cow got sold. My dad always said, "No, that can't be true." Same sort of thing. I was we'd climb the silo and pitch silage down for the cattle, and that was my job until I went to college, and then we got a silage unloader.
Well, that was your purpose, I guess.
So why did you go into medicine?
Well, I think it was something I was interested in.
But tell the story about how when you went to your dad. I think that's cute.
Well, first I had my high school football coach was also our biology teacher, and he was going around, "What are you going to do?" Blah blah blah. And I thought, well, I might be a veterinarian. He said, you can do anything you want to. You could be a doctor. You can go to med school. Because at that point, it was unusual for people to even go to college, much less to think about something further. But anyway, so after 3 years of college, I got into med school and got accepted. I went home and was telling my dad about that I got accepted in med school, and I said that I always kind of thought I'd end up farming. And he said, once you give this med school a try, you can always come back and farm.
Well, from what I hear, you were a great doctor. Everybody admired you a lot and felt very lucky to have you.
It was a wonderful life, well, and obviously so wonderful that my daughter went to it too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What kind of a...
She's an OBGYN here.
Oh,
in
okay.
town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So how many kids do you have?
We have just two.
Okay.
Jill, who goes to our church
Okay.
with her husband, Jason, and the two grandkids. And then we have a son, Corey, who went to ASU, and he...
Arizona State.
Yeah, he was
Right.
in a director of golf in California, but decided to take a...
Sabbatical.
Yes, he and a friend bought a sailboat that is in New Caledonia,
South Pacific.
and they
Okay.
took off. They flew there over 2 years ago, and they've been stuck there ever since. And we're hoping that they'll come home this June. Because of the COVID, they couldn't leave, and yeah, it's a French island. It's very expensive for them, and
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's been like a nightmare.
They've
But
been through like 3 hurricanes while they've been there.
cyclones.
Well,
Well, same thing.
Same
yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's been quite an adventure.
I would say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So you played football when you were in school?
Oh, in high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I tried playing in at the U and found out that I wasn't nearly as good as I thought I was.
Oh, he was like, well, you got some award when you were in high school.
Yeah, high school is different than
Yeah,
college.
yeah, it
and
is.
college is different than pros.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Did you do
Actually,
any sports, or were you just?
Well, when at that time for girls, the only thing we could do, we did tumbling.
That was part of PE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we did tumbling, and you could do track.
No,
We couldn't.
no. Cheerleading is about the only.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right.
cheerleading
It-
and clarinet. You
Yeah,
were
yeah. I was
And
in
him.
I was a lot
You were
in a lot of
busy.
stuff in
Yeah.
high school and in college.
Actually, what I remember about college football is that the equipment that I had in college would have been second rate to the stuff I had in high school, and every day I'd go out and I was kind of cannon fodder for a great big tackle from the East Coast that they brought in.
Oh,
Just a huge guy, just kind of a real animal sort of fellow, and had that same sort of reputation in the dorm. We went back for a 40th class reunion. I ran into this guy and approached him and explained who I was, because I'm sure he didn't know who I was, and thanked him for beating the crap out of me and practiced every day, because I discovered that I should quit football and concentrate on
Your studies?
on my studies.
I
It
think
turned
that
out-
was wise.
And he turned out to be just a peach of a guy.
Well, that's
Just
good.
didn't get a guy enough chance when I was young.
Yeah. So, something in your life that changed you, good or bad? You look back and say, that really made a difference.
For me, I think being a mom and a grandma has been fabulous. I have loved. Well, I like being a mom, but I love being a grandma or a nana. It's been, and it still is fabulous.
I think that the thing that's one of the things that's changed me was I got sued one time,
Oh.
and it's real time for introspection when that sort of
I
thing
bet.
happens. Another thing is that we had one of our kids had a little health problem, and how wonderful our church was about supporting us at that point in time. You know, it was a real eye opener of how people cared.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, that kind of makes me cry.
I think it makes all of us cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kind of things they alter your inside, your psyche, and it's just amazing the people that come around that you never suspected
Yeah.
were doing that. Yeah. Well, you guys have had a very diverse existence, I would say. I think it's really nice to get to know both of you, and I remember the first time I came up here for that. What is it? Monday afternoons, knitting and more.
Oh yes.
And that was really, really nice. I really appreciated being invited, being someone who doesn't know anybody here. It's like now I'm getting a whole new family because, now the people that I've interviewed come up every week and talk to me.
Oh, of course.
Give me a hug.
Yes.
And it's just so fun, and I'm just enjoying it so much.
Well, we enjoy having you in the
Thank you.
church.
Yeah.
You've been a real
Thank you for doing this
power
too.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she does lots of stuff for the church. So
Well, I kind of get in on the do it side.
well, that's
Get
good.
involved and do it,
Yeah.
It's important.
Yes, it
It's
is.
important.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
thank you both so much for
You're
everything
welcome.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see you on the flip side.
Sounds good.